Congressman Khanna is a Democrat of California. He previously served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Commerce under President Obama, and he joins me now. Congressman, I've been talking to lots of elected representatives, and one thing I know that folks in Congress and the Senate do hear a lot from small business owners in their district or their state. They are a powerful and important constituency. And it seems like there's some real freakouts happening. I'm curious what you've been hearing.
Absolutely. You're hearing from manufacturers that they can't get the inputs and the parts. Look, if you're going to have tariffs, you got to make sure that some of the supply chain is here. You got to make sure that we can actually produce things here. But instead of having any even gradual approach, they just have blanket tariffs. And now some things are economic theory, but here we actually saw the result. There was 2.4% growth when Biden left. And then Trump said, I'm going to do these tariffs. And now there's negative 0.3% growth. So this is a theory. He's destroying the economy that he inherited.
One of the things that's been striking to me is this message that's been coming from the White House that's a very non-Donald Trump style message, which is basically, buckle up, Buttercup. This is necessary. It's going to hurt, but it'll be worth it. This is the president talking to Kristen Welker for an interview. He doesn't quite say that, but this sort of idea that there's some transition, some sacrifice, some temporary pain. Take a listen.
Some people on Wall Street have expressed concerns that the possibility of a recession is increasing. And I want to know what you think about that. Are you comfortable with the country potentially dipping into a recession for a period of time if you are able to achieve your long-term goals?
Well, you know, you say some people on Wall Street say, well, I like to tell you something else. Some people on Wall Street say that we're going to have the greatest economy in history. Why don't you talk about them? Because some people on Wall Street say this is the greatest thing.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at, though. It's the same question.
Yeah, there are many people on Wall Street say this is going to be the greatest windfall ever happened.
And that's my question, the long term. Yeah. Is it okay in the short term to have a recession?
Look, everything's okay. What we are, I said, this is a transition period. I think we're going to do fantastically.
I mean, everything's okay. This is a transition period. We're going to do fantastically. What do you think?
Well, the sad thing here is it's not just short-term pain for some long-term gain. There's no strategy to have the manufacturing come here. Look at Apple computers in my district. What are they doing because of the China tariffs? They're moving to Malaysia. They're moving to India. Why aren't they moving here? Because Trump isn't willing to invest in tool engineering and electronic manufacturing hubs in the workforce. And then, by the way, he's saying that the tariffs aren't going to be there in 90 days. So anyone who even was thinking of let's put manufacturing here says, well, why should I do anything? Because he may change his mind. It is just total chaos. All he's caused is uncertainty, and he's losing the business leaders. I said to someone he had criminal complaints, no one cared in Silicon Valley. Affairs, no one complained. Insurrections, no one complained. Now he's costing people money, and suddenly people are waking up.
Is that true, though? Like, you represent Silicon Valley, and you know, the politics of that area, well, I shouldn't say the area. The politics of the richest people in that area have been sort of interesting to watch. And I'm just curious if you feel like there's been a trajectory where this has pushed them to the other side or has them freaked out in a way they weren't before.
I appreciate your precision in saying that, because you're absolutely right. The 5 or 10 prominent billionaires don't represent the workers at Google and Apple and people in the district. But yes, look, I had someone text me saying we hated Vice President Harris, we hated Trump, we voted for Trump because we thought we were going to make more money. And it was blunt. And I said, well, how's that working out? 20% down. Lena Khan did not do nearly as much damage from their perspective, and I supported Lena Khan, but didn't do nearly as much to stop mergers and acquisitions as the killing of the capital markets under Donald Trump. So I think people are waking up and saying this isn't economically rational. Look, Howard Lutnick, I mean, I don't want to be too wonky, but he gave this speech saying that if you lower the trade deficit by $300 billion, that you would increase our GDP by $300 billion, as if there was a one-to-one relationship, totally ignoring that you would also lower capital inflows, the foreign investment in the U.S., that triggers domestic investment. Now, it may sound technical, but usually our Commerce Secretary has Economics 101. And these folks just don't understand the basic economics, and they're running the world's greatest economy, and they're ruining it.
Congressman Ro Khanna, who does represent all of the voters of Silicon Valley, not just the very, very rich ones. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.